Welcome to the session on Educational Psychology, Module 2, Session 10. A quick recap. In the previous session, we discussed about behavioral approaches to learning and we discussed classical conditioning. In today's session, we will discuss about operant conditioning. Operant conditioning relies on a fairly simple premise. Actions that are followed by reinforcement will be strengthened and more likely to occur again in the future. If you tell a funny story in a class and everybody laughs, you will probably be more likely to tell that story again in the future. If you raise your hand to ask a question and your teacher praises your polite behavior, you will be more likely to raise your hand the next time you have a question or comment. Because the behavior was followed by reinforcement or a desirable outcome, the preceding action is strengthened. Conversely, actions that result in punishment or undesirable consequences will be weakened and less likely to occur again in the future. If you tell the same story again in another class but nobody laughs this time, you will be less likely to repeat the story again in the future. If you shout out an answer in class and your teacher scolds you, then you might be less likely to interrupt the class again. We will start off with understanding types of behavior. B.F. Skinner distinguished between two different types of behaviors, respondent behaviors and operant behaviors. Respondent behaviors are those that occur automatically and reflexively, such as pulling your hand back from a hot stove or jerking your leg when doctor taps on your knee. You don't have to learn these behaviors, they simply occur automatically and involuntarily. It is more reflexive in nature. Operant behaviors, on the other hand, are those under our conscious control. Some may occur spontaneously and others purposefully. But it is the consequences of these actions that then influence whether or not they occur again in the future. Our actions on the environment and the consequences of that action make up an important part of the learning process. While classical conditioning could account for respondent behaviors, Skinner realized that it could not account for a great deal of learning. Instead, Skinner suggested that operant conditioning held far greater importance. While classical conditioning could account for respondent behaviors, Skinner realized that it could not account for a great deal of learning. Instead, Skinner suggested that operant conditioning held far greater importance. There are four components of operant conditioning. Firstly, positive reinforcers. These are favorable events or outcomes that are presented after the behavior. In positive reinforcement situations, a response or behavior is strengthened by the addition of praise or a direct reward. If you do a job at work and your manager gives you a bonus, that bonus is a positive reinforcer. We will understand this with another example. After performing in a community theatre play, you will receive applause from the audience. This acts as a positive reinforcer, inspiring you to try out for more performance roles. Secondly, negative reinforcers. These involve the removal of an unfavorable events or outcomes after the display of a behavior. In these situations, a response is strengthened by the removal of something considered unpleasant. For example, if your child starts to scream in the middle of a restaurant but stops once you hand them a treat, your action led to the removal of the unpleasant condition, negatively reinforcing your behavior, not your child's. Another example could be when a professor tells students that if they have perfect attendance all semester, then they do not have to take the final comprehensive exam. By removing an unpleasant stimulus, the final test in this case, students are negatively reinforced to attend classes regularly. The third component of operant conditioning is positive punishment. This, sometimes referred to as punishment by application, presents an unfavorable event or outcome in order to weaken the response it follows. Spanking for misbehavior is an example of punishment by application. Another example is if you fail to hand in a project on time. Your boss becomes angry and berates your performance in front of your coworkers. This acts as a positive punisher, making it less likely that you will finish projects late in the future. The fourth component is the negative punishment, also known as punishment by removal, occurs when a favorable event or outcome is removed after a behavior occurs. Taking away a child's video game following misbehavior is an example of negative punishment. Another example is a teen girl. If a teen girl does not clean up her room as she was asked, so her parents take away her phone for the rest of the day. This is an example of negative punishment in which a positive stimulus is taken away. Generalization, discrimination, and extension are involved in operant conditioning as well, similar to classical conditioning. Generalization means giving the same response to similar stimuli. An example could be students are positively reinforced for using effective study skills for one course and then go on to use those same skills for other courses. Discrimination is differentiating among stimuli or environmental events. An example could be although both are adults, students behave differently for a parent than a teacher. Lastly, extension. This occurs when a previously reinforced response is no longer reinforced and the response decreases. An example could be a child associates the sound of a microwave with her favorite snack and she rushes into the kitchen. But after dad uses microwave several times without making the snack, she gradually stops. Summarizing the session, operant conditioning was introduced by B.F. Skinner. Reinforcement, that is reward, is a consequence that increases the probability of a behavior that will occur. Behavior produce changes in the probability that the behavior will occur. Here are some references for exploring the concepts further. Thank you.